that. Okay, let's get to some of the Adam Schefter reports here really quickly before we get out of here. So this is more speculation, but Adam Schefter threw out there, based on his connections and based on some of the communications he's had, what some of the most popular rumors are heading into the draft. He claims that Howie Roseman is contacting teams to trade up in the first round. So, yeah, the Eagles doing it again. Sorry, Cowboys fans. So that's one that's out there. I wonder what position it would be for. Like, if the Eagles are trading up in the first round, what is it for?
I don't know. I mean,
you know what I mean? They got 2 wide receivers. They got their 2 tackles locked up. They got their quarterback locked up. If you're trading up, it's for a premium position, is it
Brock
not?
Bowers?
Oh, damn. Would the NFL let that happen? Y'all got to start blocking.
I mean, that's the only thing. I mean, unless it's defensively, unless there's a DB they really want or something like that.
It could be a DB. I'll take you on that. It could be a DB because pass rushers, they're loaded. Man, they got basically the whole Georgia front 7 from 2 years ago. You probably maybe DB. DB could be it.
It could be a DB.
They need DB help badly.
Or they know what Byron Murphy is, and they want Byron Murphy or something.
They just got Jordan Davis a couple of years ago in that D-type position. Yeah, they are loaded. Okay, so that's one. There's also speculation. This comes from Ms. Schefter as well. That Michael Penix Jr. could go as high as number 8 to the Falcons. I think Michael Penix Jr. could get drafted in the first round. I'm not sure if he goes that high. I will say this, and I said it earlier. It is a real red flag for me. If I think his name is I think it's Josh Grubb, but Grubb is the offensive coordinator for Seattle right now. He was the offensive coordinator for the Washington Huskies last season, and the entire time basically that Michael Penix, I think that's the entire time. I think 2 years actually with Michael Penix. If Seattle doesn't draft Michael Penix in the first or the second round, having their offensive coordinator as their new OC and also basically in the same damn city where he took a college football team to the national title, that would be a red flag to me. Why are they staying away? And they need a quarterback. They need a quarterback because they got Geno Smith as a bridge quarterback. They need a future developmental quarterback. If they are not one of the teams that goes after Michael Penix, that would be a red flag for me.
Yeah, and I didn't Taylor Heinicke. Tyler Heinicke's at Falcons. He's a backup quarterback. He's a decent.
Oh yeah, I like Tyler Heinicke. Yeah,
he's a decent enough backup. You don't need to reach at 8 to go get a guy who, you're paying Kirk Cousins all this money for the next few years. The only reason you would get a rookie here is if you really thought we needed a quarterback. I know that there's reports that they're probably going to lose a draft pick. I'm with you. I don't think it'd be a first rounder next year. So if you wanted to get a quarterback next year, you could probably try and get one then. That wouldn't be like, I just don't. That's such a reach. If you're going to go for a quarterback, trade back.
Yeah. Because I think you can get him later. I think he'll drop, if anything.
Yeah.
I think he's going to end up dropping, if anything. I'm with you. I can't see that, but that's what Shefty threw it out there. Shefty's pretty reliable with stuff like that. Albert Breer is claiming that the Dolphins are very interested in Xavier Worthy. And there's more talk about the Dolphins having a fixation on Xavier Worthy because we know speed is Mike McDaniel's big thing. You got Jalen Waddle. You got the fastest team in the NFL right now. Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill. You got Raheem Mostert, Devin A-Chain.
Yeah.
And now you're going to add Xavier Worthy? That would be the fastest team in the history of the NFL, Patrick. And you know what? It doesn't make sense. The reason it makes sense is because Tyreek Hill's getting older. And at one point, you're going to pay Tyreek Hill again, and you're going to pay Jalen Waddle before that. So I'm not saying you're moving on from Tyreek Hill, but he is getting older. I think he's like 30-something now. I do wonder if they're thinking about the Tyreek Hill replacement, and Xavier Worthy would be the ideal replacement because he's the fastest man in the history of the NFL Combine. So I don't know how old Tyreek Hill is, but maybe that's an option.
Tyreek Hill will be 30 this season. He'll be 31 next season, which is still a decent, and he's still going to make a decent amount of money. You can't pay him his 2026 money though.
What is it?
$43 million base salary. That's the base. Not with the signing bonus, not with the roster bonus, not with the workout bonus, not with the restructure. $56 million cap hit in 2026. $11 million in dead cap if you cut him that year.
So they could draft Xavier Worthy and start.
Yeah, because you are not paid $56 million for a 32-year-old Tyreek Hill.
Hell no. Y'all wouldn't pay that for a 23-year-old Tyreek Hill. I did not realize that. Okay, so That makes sense actually now. If they want to replace a speed demon with a speed demon, maybe they do have to go after man Xavier Worthy. All right, so there you go. A couple of trade rumors. How about this though? Zach Wilson traded to the Denver Broncos. I actually like this trade for Denver. I like it for Zach Wilson too. But he's traded for a 6th round pick. So basically, Denver is expected to send a 6th round pick, 2024 6th round pick to the Jets for Zach Wilson and a 7th round pick in exchange. So that's not a lot of value for a former 1st round pick. So now, if you're looking at it, Patrick, this is why I was talking about the Cowboys. You got to try to extract as much value from every acquisition as possible. There were 5 quarterbacks taken in the top 15 of the 2021 NFL draft. 4 of them have been traded, and now we know what the market the market value is for those quarterbacks. Zach Wilson traded for a 6th round pick, actually in exchange for Zach Wilson in the 7th, they get a 6th round pick. The Bears traded Justin Fields for a 6th round pick. Conditionally, it's a 4th if he starts more than half those games. The Mac Jones traded by the Patriots to the Jags for a 6th round pick. So it seems like 6th round pick, that was more the value. Cowboys paid a 4th round pick for Trey Lance. So they overpaid for him a little bit. And if you don't get some return on that investment, then you'd have to see that as a bad investment by the Cowboys. I do like the move to give them options at the quarterback position. You know, I'm all about stockpiling quarterbacks, but I'll admit you miscalculated the market just a little bit and you overpaid for Trey Lance. But this is what it's about. Every transaction, every acquisition, extracting a little bit of value. And then when you look up at the end of the calendar year, you add up all that value, that cumulative value, and then boom, that's how you end up having as a GM. That's how you end up having a hell of a season, like what a Nick Caserio's having, because all your contracts, all your players on those contracts, they outperform them. All the players you drafted outperform their draft position. And that's what you want if you're the Cowboys. I don't think you get that enough if you're the Cowboys. So another example of it. All right, there you go. Zach Wilson traded to the Denver Broncos. By the way, that's if Sean Payton can resurrect that skill set. We've seen it with guys like Geno Smith. We've seen it with Jared Goff and a Baker Mayfield. These stories of quarterbacks who were once considered a bust, now considered to be, potentially starting quarterbacks or bridge quarterbacks. It would be a hell of a story if Sean Payton can resurrect and resuscitate Zach Wilson's career. He is last in all of these categories. In terms of quarterbacks with at least 20 starts in the last 3 seasons. Yards per attempt, success rate, EPA, accuracy, first down rate, touchdown rate, explosive play rate, explosive pass rate, passer rating, total QBR, completion percentage, and touchdown interception ratio. He is the worst in the NFL in all of those categories the last 3 years. That is a Herculean task ahead of Sean Payton. All right, we come back. We're going to wrap it up.